Hello everyone, I'm Samurai Man, and I'm going to explain how speedrunners beat Echoes of Wisdom in under 1 hour. There is one thing that this game has, is that all of the cutscenes are not skippable. Especially the starting intro is not skippable. Some other cutscenes further are. The start of the game is quite boring, let's be honest. So I could just go and skip further to explain what's actually going on and how speedrunners are doing these strats. Coming to Ganon fight, the best thing they can do is just dealing damage with the sword and using bow to deal damage if he's farther away. And when there's a tennis battle coming from him, then I'll just shoot at them back. That was a little unfortunate on my part. This is my run, by the way, because I didn't expect Ganon to shoot it back at me. You saw the quick spin I just did there. That's done by rotating the control stick, then just attacking with a sword. And that's pretty much the first boss fight, Ganon. Now comes the part when we save Zelda. Then there's gonna be a lot of dialogues in a castle with the king and other servants. And I'll just skip all the way to Dry Rod, then I'll explain more about the run. Once runners get to Dry Rod, they start grabbing all of the echoes that are gonna be used in a run. There are some echoes we will go out of our way to grab just to make the final boss fight a lot more feasible to do. It starts off with making stools to get up on the ledge, or all those shelves actually. I personally wanted to grab this just to block that one card so it doesn't follow me. Though, in this game, it's kinda weird sometimes that you wanna place it in front of you, but you just saw how I had to quickly improvise there to not get cocked by the card. Getting cocked will be like a minute time loss, because you get thrown back to the cell, then you have to leave the same way. We don't have any reason to learn Pot Echo in this run. And you would think that going around these shelves will be faster by using echoes. But the more you use the menu, the more time you might lose on creating echoes and try to go above shelves. This outfit Zelda just put on, it gives her spinning, so pressing R button will let her spin. That will be used throughout the whole run. Next echo runners learn is a bed echo, a bed, and it is a very good echo because you can stack it in a way to climb up. And generally the way speedrunners can save time in this kind of short run is to minimize the amount of menuing. So less menuing, the more time you'll eventually save. There's gonna be a quick cutscene with the rift following us, then we'll head outside of the castle and we're in a beach. Though before I go outside, I learned this rock echo, which may not be necessary, but it helps to deal some damage to enemies, and it's faster to pick up a rock than a box. These sea urchins are gonna be really useful in a run. Learning this keys echo will help to go through the last dungeon before the final boss. Without it, it's gonna be really hard to get to the final boss. The next goal is to make it to the first waypoint of the game. Waypoints are this game's warp points, so you can warp to them from anywhere you want. This echo, this sign right here, is the most broken echo of this run. You'll be surprised how, but I assure you. Once grabbing that waypoint, I make my way outside by using these trampolines on trees and make it to the next object, which is going to this house. So it advances the story. Because Try wants to go there, but Rift is on the way, so we have to go to the dungeon then. So far you've noticed how this run is very normal, and that's what it is, because there's a barrier around this area, and the game doesn't allow you to get out at all. People tested that, so you are forced to complete this dungeon. At least there is a skip here we can do by using beds. And that is thanks to this NPC that is frozen here. We can put a bed on it and climb up on the highest top of this cliff. You'll see just now. That's how we can skip that part of the cave. It's time to enter the first dungeon of the game, Suthorn Ruins, and the only dungeon of this speedrun. Our goal is to just make it to the end of the dungeon. We grab Sword of Might and a couple of new echoes along the way. But this waypoint is very important to grab. It is required for upcoming glitch. Here is a spider enemy we'll be killing for an echo. We'll be using it in later part of the run. Like that, you can see how usefully that is. Okay, let's pause here. At the making of this video, a new skip was discovered. What a surprise, right? The rest of the dungeon can be skipped. Glitch hunters managed to build a tower that can reach to the skybox. Zelda cannot stay up there, so the game will put her back on ground. This works the same way as getting lost in Eternal Forest. Now runners can perform a wrong warp up here. I will explain more about wrong warp later. But shortly said, by reading a sign and void out by the skybox, they can open the map and wrong warp outside of Suthorn. Then make their way to Sanctuary Waypoint, which is used for another wrong warp. All this skips majority of the first dungeon, lots of dialogue and Sword of Might that was used in previous route. And how much time does this new skip save? About 10 minutes. Yeah. After beating the dungeon, it will be time for runners to use a wrong warp to final area. Okay, back to the video. We're gonna warp back to Eternal Forest, and we start to set up for a wrong warp. Now comes the sign to play. The sign, you remember I echoed that? By walking to this when you get lost and trying to talk to the sign at the same time, you can interact with it in a way that you can open the menu or map at the same time. And now I have a menu open here, as well as the echo menu by pressing the L button. L button opens the echoes menu. For this part, you think it's just a frozen screen, but if you look at the bottom right of the screen, you can see Zelda moving around. I'm making my way to the first dungeon's entrance by using the warp point. So during this whole moment, we are still holding the L button. And when we are in a still world, we'll open the map by pressing the minus button. Go to the dungeon's entrance point, the waypoint. We want to release the echo menu, so it closes. At this point, it doesn't matter if the echo menu is up or not. We select the waypoint of the dungeon's entrance. We don't press A yet. We don't want to confirm this. We now want to press the map again. So then it opens the still world map, but you see in the bottom of the screen it says warp there and cancel at the very bottom. So we switch to overworld map by pressing D-pad left. And here you remember we grabbed that graveyard waypoint. We're gonna cursor over that. Now when we have the cursor on the graveyard waypoint, we need to press D-pad right and A immediately after. If done right, the warp will lead you straight to the final area. It happened really fast there, so I'll show this again in real time without any pausing. And that's how the wrong warp works in this speedrun. If something goes wrong, it's either the warp doesn't work, or the game crashes. Now the reason we wanted to level up the sword is because Link also gets this sword as well. Hey there again, I'll explain couple things here that changed with the newest route. This room is different compared to the previous route. Runners were able to take down these blobs that would spawn enemies by using the sword. But now it's a lot more harder to take these enemies down since sword is skipped. If you wonder how runners were able to use the sword here, it was because of the wrong warp. Okay, back to the video. I'll be back soon. You will see that Link doesn't spawn here. That's because we wrong warped here. And it has a very sad side effect that it soft locks the next room. But there's a way around for it. And to fix this next part to not have a soft lock happen, we need to hit this switch and try to hit it in a way that we can still hit the pause and save it at the same time. Now if you heard that sound effect, we know that we hit the switch, the door is open, and the soft lock is not there anymore. This next part is just the enemies we have to take out by using echoes. And Pihat is like the only one that is capable of getting them out. I have some issues here to try to survive because it's a deck type and full foes that are really hard to avoid. Fortunately, I managed to find a way to take out the deck type. Then I try to take out this full foes by bringing it to Link. Then it's just taking down this plant. And it takes a while, but simple as that. Though all of the enemies in this part can deal like 2 or 3 hearts of damage, so it's not a easy room to go through at all. The 2D section is possible to skip. Normally Link's path is inaccessible due to wall separating Link and Zelda, but wrong warp has a side effect where the path is open. We can go straight to this room and climb up with Link for a free time save. Alright, and now we start the final fight against Null. Null has 3 phases. For the first phase we only have to just pull all of the arms off its body. So, well, not off the body, but just pull them off enough so Link can break them. And the way we know when Link can break them is see the pink part of the arm flashing. When all of the arms are fully gone. One way is just using urchins to deal damage. Or Pihat, doesn't matter, just some way so you can deal damage. The first phase is really simple. It doesn't have anything too crazy. Just gotta avoid those hands to take any damage. While breaking all the hands, it will always drop a heart. So if you take any damage, that's one way you can refill your health. Second phase happens underwater in 2D section. This part is an auto-scroller actually. Once Null makes it all the way to the end, then you just have to deal damage and the second phase ends there. 3 of those hands actually spawns these bosses and enemies of the game. We want to take out those first, so that way we can save some time on this fight. It's gone, so now we can just take out the final hand and we'll deal the damage to this first part. Next part is gonna be a little scary, so for that I opt to put on a Pihat Echo that will deal damage for me. These hands will spawn enemies, so we have to avoid them. Some of them will deal 2 hearts of damage, and 2 hits will result a death. And to avoid that hand that will grab us, we just have to spin around and hope that it doesn't grab us. Take out one of those hands that spawns enemies. And if we get lucky, we can grab another one quickly. But not. Avoiding these Ganons, we just go from left to right. Later in the fight, it will spawn more and different combinations of bosses. So we have to adapt to those. Then it's time for a final part. Next enemies can be really scary. There's gonna be Lizalvos and Bulblins, I think. Or some pig enemies that spawns. And they can deal some damage, so we have to avoid them and hopefully... Yeah, they deal 2 hearts of damage. And this is where I use the potion to make sure, smoothie, to make sure I don't die to the next hit. I just have to take out that last hand, and that will be this part of the fight. And there it goes. Then it's just the final 5 hands. Link had to take out those. There goes one. These are completely random what bosses it spawns. Some ones I don't want to see are Lanayru bosses for sure, because there's gonna be 3 of them. There's a part where there can be 6 Ganon spawning as well. And that is pretty much it. That's the final fight done. Then for the speedrun to end, we grab the Triforce. And that's how speedrunners beat Echoes of Wisdom in under 1 hour. In less than a week of the game's release. Check out the description for Discord link so you can learn more about the speedrun of this game and more other information as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video.